Good morning, Magic! I'm Gavin Verhey from Wizards of the Coast, and with Zendikar Rising now out, that means lots of new legendary creatures, which of course means lots of new commander decks to build. So I thought today I'd walk you through 3 decks I built with Zendikar Rising legendary creatures and exactly how they work. Let's do it. First up is Moraug, Fury of Akoum. This Minotaur wants you to keep playing lands, then attack over and over and over again, and the way I kind of built this deck is so you would have one big turn. The deck has plenty of mana ramp using staples like Solemn Simulacrum and Wayfarer's Bauble and Burnished Hart, of course, but also some fun red ones. For example, the brand new Nahiri's Lithoforming is awesome here. It lets you play a ton of extra lands and get a bunch of extra attack steps. And on a much smaller scale, something like Cleansing Wildfire is pretty nice too, just as one extra land to give you an extra attack step and drawing a card in the process. Now you need a bunch of creatures with Moraug to attack and get that bonus, and there's quite a few in this deck, but 2 I want to call out in particular are Leyline Tyrant, which is brand new in Zendikar Rising. This deck is super mana hungry, so being able to store your red mana from turn to turn is really nice. Another one I really like is Scourge of the Throne. It gives you extra attack steps itself on top of the ones Moraug is already giving you, so it really helps you build up to that one big turn, doing a ton of different attacks and dealing a ton of damage. And speaking of extra combat steps, yeah, you're gonna want some of those. So cards like World at War and Aggravated Assault give you even more combat steps once again on top of the ones Moraug is already giving you. How to keep your creatures safe as you keep attacking? Well, Dolmen Gate is a fantastic find for this deck and lets you attack over and over and over again without worrying about your creature dying in combat. Now this deck is really mana hungry. You're setting up for one big turn where you play Moraug, get a bunch of landfall triggers, and attack again. And so to that end, you want to be able to reload your hand. So some Wheel of Fortune effects like Reforge the Soul are in here, as well as things like Neheb to allow you to loot past the cards that you don't need. And yes, of course, in a pinch, you can always put Helm of the Host on your Moraug and go to town. I'll say the biggest sadness in this deck was thinking for a while that Scaretiller was an awesome combo with Moraug, but sadly, it doesn't work. Sorry, Scaretiller. Okay, up for deck number 2 is Orah, Skyclave Hierophant. Now, as you might imagine, this is a Cleric's Tribal deck, no surprises there, but maybe even more than Cleric's Tribal, this is like value Tribal. You can keep sacrificing your Clerics and bringing them back and getting all kinds of bonuses for doing so that will bury your opponents under your advantage. First of all, you have cards like Rotling Reanimator, which give you a bonus whenever one of your Clerics dies to make sure that as you're cycling through your Clerics, you're getting tons and tons of extra value. Combo that with all kinds of things like Grave Pact or Dictative Erebos, which make your opponent sacrifice a creature every single time one of your creatures dies. Now, how are all of your clerics dying, you might ask? Well, with cards like Ashnod's Altar and Phyrexian Lens, you can sacrifice your clerics at will. So basically, whenever you play a cleric, you can sacrifice all the way down through your cleric chain to a 1-drop cleric and get a bunch of mana for that and all of the triggers. And then if one of the clerics you bring back is, oh, I don't know, say Celestial Gatekeeper, you can get back more clerics and do it all again. And of course, you're generating mana from this, you can cast more clerics from your hand, and really it's a non-stop snowball of advantage. So maybe you're drawing cards off something like Taborax, or looping something like Entomber Exarch to get back a creature every single time, all kinds of options. I think my favorite win condition for the deck is Ancestors Chosen. I know it might not look like much, but cast it with a Sanguine Bond in play, maybe loop through it a couple times, and your opponents will be feeling the pain. And last, but certainly not least, is Verazol, the Kicker Commander. Now, blue and green are 2 colors that are always great to play in Commander because you get plenty of card draw and mana ramp. And the base of this deck is no exception. You have cards like Cultivate and Rampant Growth that kick you off, and then things like Hunting Wilds and Vastwood Surge, which even have Kicker that you can double if Verazol's in play. You can also accelerate with cards like Elfhame Druid, a fun little Dominarian nod to help you kick your spells quicker. But of course, the real star of the show with this deck are the Kicker cards, and there are some sweet ones in here. The one that I want to copy the most, Rite of Replication. Yeah, I'll take 10 copies, thank you very much. Mad Blend Cacophony is not too shabby either, kicking your opponents down to just a quarter of their current library size. And of course, there are mini great creatures in Magic's history with Kicker 2 that you can play to kind of gum up the ground. One fun card I had totally forgotten about is Saproling Infestation, and honestly, I'm not even sure if it's good enough, but it seemed like the card to put in this kind of deck, so I'm glad to have it in here for now. I think my favorite non-Kicker card in the deck, though, is Twinning Staff from Commander 2020. Whenever you copy a spell with Verazol, you'll get to do it yet again using this card, which can get pretty out of hand pretty fast. You can find the deck list for all of these in the description down below. Go check it out. So these are 3 legendary creatures from Zendikar Rising that I'm really excited about, but which ones are you most excited about? Let me know in the comments below, and I would love to hear which one you want to build around first. I'll talk with you again on Monday, and in the meantime, you have a lot of fun building with some brand new legends. You got this. Entwine, just Kicker. Exploit, just Kicker. Buyback, just Kicker before Kicker even existed. Replicate, That's just multi-kicker. Just kicker, just kicker, just kicker, just kicker, just kicker, kinda sorta kicker, still kicker, like a kicker style kind of thing. Kicker, but for an entirely different reason. Not kicker, but like you can kind of see it as kicker, right? Kicker again.